So I really, really enjoyed preparing for this talk, even though it has taken me some time. Because who doesn't want to spend loads and loads of time focusing on kindness? It's incredibly uplifting to do the research and just study into kindness. I've so enjoyed it. But when I was doing the research, I realized that talk is super simple because really there is nothing complicated about kindness. It's really simple. As I said earlier, it's really, really as important as the air we breathe. But what's complicated is walking the talk, is actually turning it into action. So my focus is going to be on why and why not. The why is, well, I think all of us want to be kind. As Charlie said, what do you want to do when you grow up? Kind, said the boy. We all want to be kind, don't we? We all really, really want to be kind. There's just no doubt about that. And as I was preparing, I was thinking, is there any techie people in the room? I think we should ditch all this AI nonsense, all this ChatGPT nonsense, and instead we need to turn the millions that's been invested into that into inventing a kindness dust. So spreading kindness pixie dust around the world. We don't want a bunch of robots. We want a bunch of kindness. So if anyone's got the ear of Gates or Michael Dell or whatever, and I know we've got a few people who work for those companies in our audience, please, can you have a word in their ears and let's get some kindness dust around. But in the interim, we ain't got that. And the world isn't where we want it to be in terms of kindness. So there's over 100 wars going on at the moment. 4.5 million people have died this century from wars. 1 in 10 people go to bed hungry worldwide. If we cared more, if we were kinder, that wouldn't be the case. And one stat that really gets me, there's many more people now suffering from obesity than are suffering from malnutrition. That's bonkers. It's bonkers. That figure overtook about 5 years ago. It's bonkers. But we're also cruel to our planet. We're not kind to our planet. I remember strongly my visit to Bangladesh and the delta of the Ganges, where the sea levels are rising, the rivers are rising, and people are losing their livelihoods, they're losing their homes because the land's just disappearing. We don't care. I just don't think we care enough. So globally, we don't care. And locally, I remember several years ago, Pete did a study. He talked to vicars and community leaders and headmasters about problems in Marlow. Do you know what the biggest issue was? Can you remember what the biggest issue was? Loneliness. So if we cared for each and every one of us just that little bit more, I'm sure we could have an impact on loneliness. But I think we should look to the great philosopher of our all times for the answers to this. Paddington Bear. If we were kind and polite, the world would be all right. It's that simple, isn't it? That simple. And actually, he goes on to say, and I love this bit too, it's about me and you. And it don't cost now. It costs me nothing to be kind. It doesn't cost me anything to be kind. However, as I just said, talk is really easy. What we really need is walking the talk. And the greatest example, the person we can learn the most from on that, without a shadow of a doubt, Jesus. There is so many examples littered throughout the Bible of Jesus being kind. It's unbelievable. This one struck me. Matthew 14:14. When Jesus landed and saw a large crowd, he had compassion on them and he healed the sick. The context of this, he's just found out his best mate's been beheaded. He goes to try and be on his own to mourn, and the crowds follow him. I'm not sure I would have said, come here, let me come and heal you. He sits down and he heals the sick. Jesus' examples of kindness transcend appearances and social norms. So he healed the leper. I guess it's a bit like today, like when in the early days of COVID, when we were full of fear, someone coming and helping you and being kind to you when you've got COVID in your house. It happened to us. And it's the most, I bring tears to my eyes now when Tara Lee came to our house to help us because we had mother with dementia when we all had COVID. She put her own fears to one side. It was unbelievable. His kindness also extended to society's misfits. It's easy to be kind to people who are just like you, but he had dinner with the tax collector. I guess today it's like having dinner with a convicted criminal, someone like Donald Trump. So he extended his kindness. He's a convicted criminal. You don't wipe that from the tape. His kindness had no religious or cultural differences. He talked kindly to the Samaritan woman in the well. I guess, when Jehovah's Witnesses come knocking at your door, do you welcome them in? Come and talk to me? You have to be quite brave to do that, don't you? So his kindness went beyond social and religious, cultural differences. And I think the one that gets me the most, his kindness extended to those that hurt him. So he healed the man's ear that had been cut off. This man was taken away to be murdered, and he healed his ear. Can you be kind to people who hurt you? Just 2 weeks ago when Pub in the Park was on, in Marlow, everyone's really kind to each other in cars. I mean, they always let other cars come, and it's Marlow, isn't it? And I did that. I let cars come along Station Road, and I got beeped. I was furious. I was angry like there's no tomorrow. I looked in my mirror, and there was 2 underage, I guess, stupid idiot boys. And I can tell you, the signal I gave them wasn't that kind. However, maybe it was kind because they laughed their heads off. So it's difficult to be kind to people who are mean to us. There is I don't know where it came from, but be kind to those who are unkind because they probably need it more. There's a reason why they're unkind, and you've just got to think about that. But Jesus' instructions to us on this are crystal clear, crystal clear. He says, be kind and compassionate to one another, forgiving each other just as Christ forgave you. So we know what we should be doing. In fact, those of you who do Lectio 365 every day it closes with, Father, help me to live this day to the full, being true to you in every way. Jesus, help me to give myself away to others, being kind to everyone. That's the closing prayer of Lectio 365 each day. There's a reminder each day. And there is loads and loads and loads of examples, globally and locally, of kindness. We're not that bad. There's loads of examples. So, for example, last time I stood up here, I think I talked about Nicholas Winton, 669 Jewish children he saved. I don't know if anyone saw the film. It's amazing. 6,000 of his descendants are still alive today. The biggest example that everyone talks about is in World War I, where they had that treaty for Christmas Day, where they exchanged cigarettes, they exchanged stories, and they just forgot about the war for a day. Mother Teresa, whose whole life was all about kindness. But locally, we've got loads of examples of kindness. Last week, I had to pop into River Life. It was the most amazing atmosphere in River Life. And thank you to Beryl and all the people. Loads of you were here who help. I got a cup of coffee offered from you immediately and a biscuit. There was kindness everywhere in that room. I was blown away by the atmosphere in that room. It was one of kindness. But we've got loads of other examples. Meals from Marlow. Meals from Marlow, which I know Sarah helps with. 200,000 meals delivered since it started. We've got Wycombe, we've got Patches Fields, we've got loads of examples of kindness. Loads of examples of kindness that goes on. But why isn't there more? Why isn't it everywhere? Why isn't it in the air we breathe? What can we do about it? What are the barriers to kindness? And that's what I really wanted. I don't have any answers to this. I don't have any answers, but I wanted us to think about it more, to be more conscious of it. What stops me being kinder 100% of the time? Why do I forget friends' birthdays when the birthdays are really important to those people? Why do I not lift people up more? I think it's important that we consider what are our own, I think it's very personal, what are our own barriers to kindness? I put down a few that I was thinking of. And for me, for example, every time I go into the London office, there's homeless on the streets. They're lined up along Euston Road. Have I ever stopped and talked to them or given them food or money that they're asking for? No, I haven't. And why is it? It's fear. It's prejudice. It's hard. It's also, for me, time. I asked my daughter, we were on the train together yesterday, why do you think, what are the barriers to kindness? And she said, because you want to fit in. And we've got a natural instinct for survival. So we just want to look after ourselves. That's just the way we are. I think that's really, really, really challenging. And I think as Christians, we've got to ask ourselves, how can we overcome these barriers? 2 Timothy 1:7, I think, makes it so super clear. Push through the barriers, for the Spirit of God, for the Spirit God gave us does not make us timid, but gives us power, love, and self-discipline. And with God's help, we can push through these obstacles and let kindness flow freely from us. Wow. Who wants kindness flowing freely from you? I would like that. Yeah, it would be pretty good. And I don't think it has to be a seismic shift. It can be a tiny shift. Mental Health Week a couple of weeks back, the Mental Health Foundation said, if you do nothing else today, keep an eye out for an opportunity to help someone with a random act of kindness. They then list 50 little things you can do, like encouraging someone, call a friend up you haven't spoken in a while, tell your family member how much you love them and appreciate them. Little things like that. So my challenge to me and to you is to spend time asking God, what are our own personal barriers? What's your personal barrier to being kind? And then, how can I reduce or remove these barriers? What do I need to do? And maybe it would be good in our home group or in your personal prayer time to ask the Lord, show me what my barriers are, and show me, give me growth in the fruit of the Spirit of kindness to remove these barriers, even just a little tiny bit. Because in the words in Digby, there's no such thing as a small act of kindness. Every act creates a ripple with no logical end. So just a tiny bit of kindness can really change the world, and maybe we can invent our own kindness pixie dust in the world. Can I close in prayer for us? God, thank you for the power of your Holy Spirit. You can grow kindness in our hearts. Lord, reveal to us areas where we can show more kindness. Reveal our barriers to growth in kindness and help us to overcome them so that the world can be a better place and our kindness can flow freely. Thank you, Lord.
Thank you so much, Alison. That was wonderful.